Welcome everyone to another episode of Behind the Hive. It's the 12th of June 2025, 3 weeks to the day since we were last in this yard, and we have with us another guest today.
Thank you so much for having me and for the introduction. So my name is David. I'm the Director of Research and Education at BetterBee in upstate New York. And my role there is really a combination of beekeeper support, research and product development, and also service to the beekeeping community as a whole. So I came up here for an opportunity to really see the way that Formic Pro is manufactured, the way that Knot operates, and also to get to see the way that folks up here keep bees so that it can make me a better informed beekeeper that'll help folks keep their own bees wherever they happen to live.
I'm really excited to be here today because we're going to be taking a look at the splits that we made and see how the queens that we put into the hives last time we were here for a visit, how they did after hatching, if they mated, and if we've got some new young brood underway.
So those cells are going to need to have those queens emerge. The queens are going to need to harden themselves, reach sexual maturity, go off and mate, come back. Hopefully all of that goes well, because otherwise we're not going to find much of anything. And then if that's succeeded, then we should at this stage be seeing the brood that have been laid by newly mated fresh queens.
So we're going to get into the hives, we're going to check on them, we're going to get some supers on so we can finally get our honey production going and see what's going on in our yard. So I'm starting to fall in love with this beehive. It is my learning hive. Back in February, we came here and we did a bunch of heft tests to make sure that our bees were getting through winter okay. And then we came out here again in May where we checked for dead outs, and we set up our open source feed barrel that the bees seem to have loved this season. Fantastic. And then I got to do my first Formic Pro treatment on this hive and got to later check on how they did with it, which was wonderful. And then I got to do my first split here as well. So it has been a great buddy of mine. And today we're going to be adding on a super. Let's get into it.
So I'll open these up, but what was the last interaction that you had with this hive before you went into it?
So our last one was to do the splits. So this hive was just brand new made that day. Ooh, hello everyone.
You're pretty happy in there.
Check for the queen.
I'm sure she's not there.
5% rule.
Right. Okay.
How are they looking to you?
Looking good. It's not the most populous box I've ever seen, but they're certainly happy. I wouldn't worry about them being able to get their way through a chilly night or anything like that. So you certainly have enough bees in here to call a colony and not be too worried about. I don't want to squish this bee under that piece of burr comb, so I'll knock her out of the way. Excuse me. Oh, perfect.
So are you putting this here just to hold frames?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So I'll just pull that first frame out here. And I'm pulling the wall frame because the queen is least likely to be up there, but by no means is she unlikely or is it impossible for her to be there. But I don't see her. And the way I was taught to look for queens is that you look really, really carefully with soft eyes. So you don't fixate on any one spot. You just sort of let your eyes gently roam across the surface. And you say, all right, the queen's not there. And then you flip it over and you look on the other side and you make sure the queen's not there. And you give yourself time. You make sure that you've really searched the frame. And then you give yourself a little more time. She might show up. And then you look on the edges and on the bottom to make sure that she wasn't hiding there when you flipped it over. And then you've already checked the first side. Now we're on the second side. So now you go back to the first side. More often than not, she's right smack in the middle of that frame.
Of course.
And she's been there the whole time and you just missed her. But I think I'm pretty confident that she's not there. So now I've freed myself up enough space that I can go in here. Ooh, that is a big, heavy honey frame.
Wow.
There, and I'll just hold everything over the hive so that if that queen should happen to panic and fall down, she's going to fall right into her family and not into the grass or onto my boot or, land on another hive and then get stung by those bees, something like that.
To me, this colony does not feel like it is queenless. It feels like there's a queen here.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of bees is that if you know how they answer your questions, they will answer them pretty clearly. So if your question is, are you queenless? They're not gonna, be flying around in a circle or running in spirals on the comb, but they will have that detectable roar that a queenless colony gets that just indicates that they're not happy, something's wrong, something needs doing. So I'm pretty optimistic about what we'll find in here as we keep going.
But no eggs yet?
And nope. And this is a frame full of eggs.
Oh,
She's
hooray!
in here and she. Now I've just gone to the next frame here.
Yeah.
We had eggs, but nothing else. This is a frame of beautiful capped brood, open brood. This is a lovely colony coming together here.
Fantastic.
Since she's been in here for 21 days, and since a worker cell it takes 21 days to go from egg to an emerged capped bee, we can be confident that all of this brood is coming from the new queen who was laying, and it's no carryover from the brood that originally went in.
Good job, Queen.
I returned this
Great.
frame, which I believe was in this orientation. So.
Now I saw a queen cup that I wasn't worried about, but I'm seeing something here that could be a queen cell. And I just want to make sure that they haven't decided that there's something wrong with mom and that they want to, they might be trying to replace her. I don't think that's likely, but this is just a little longer. You can see that there's been some fresh wax added right here. And so if it was maybe 2/3 that length, I would dismiss it. But this makes me want to open it and just make absolutely certain that there isn't an egg or a larva inside. And I generally won't rip that out. I'll just open it up because I know that they'll go and remodel it and rebuild it right away. But I can peer right down into the bottom and say, good, no, they're not trying to replace her with a new supersedure queen. They just wanted to build that wax infrastructure so that on the off chance they want a queen later, now they've got a space to start raising one.
Very productive.
And you can see those 3 frames of brood have filled this box with bees. And the population of 5+ frames of brood over the next 3 weeks, this will be an exploding population. Then we add all the field force to it from the parent colony. This becomes a mega honey producer.
Yeah.
This is how I raised a lot of comb honey.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can put that on now.
Okay. Thank you, Heather. Down you go. Good.
So we'll need 2. When you can bring one at a time, sorry. Yeah.
This is Liam. He's helping us out today by bringing our empty supers for all of our hives.
And scraping queen excluders and
Yeah.
anything else that needs muscle. He's been with us a couple of years now.
So you've said that we need to put 2 supers on here, and I know a lot of beekeepers are very, very hesitant to do that. So can you explain why it makes sense to put 2 supers onto this colony at the same moment?
Get everything done in one trip that you can.
Right, you know you're going to need them, and they won't be offended by that extra space.
3 of these equal 2 standard depth brood chambers in capacity. So I used to put either 2 or 3 full depth boxes standard. So what'll happen when I do that pull out is I'll actually put a total of 6 of those boxes and they've been known to plug those out. So if it's a really powerful unit, I'll sometimes throw on a 7th.
Terrific.
So you put the hive inner cover on correctly with the entrance to the back, and then I just pull the cover forward because I don't want an entrance up here. Otherwise, they're guard bees at my head level.
Right. Yeah, the taller it gets, the closer it gets to where the action is.
We have been so lucky over the last few months having a lot of friends visiting us from around the world to share their beekeeping tips and tricks. We had friends from Ireland come when we were removing our bee cozies back in May, and then we just recently had Freddie from Germany come and help us with our splits. So this is a colony that he worked with. He entered the queen cell for this colony, and we're going to check on it on his behalf and see if we can add some supers to this one as well.
Good. Take that out of the way. Good. So you have a smoker.
I do not.
Here we have the
Thank
smoker.
you.
So I'll set back the guards a little bit. Good. So what do you think of that hive tool, Emma?
I'm good with it.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the J. It's very helpful.
Good.
It's a new one for me.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
There we go. Hello.
For me, a hive tool is like an appendage. I've used them for so many years, I can not even think about it. Just flip them around and
No queen
okay,
on
no queen on
here.
there. Great.
Did you smoke this a little bit? It's looking,
Just a little bit. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's not quite as strong as some of the other ones we've looked at.
Let's take a look here then. Got lots of feed on this one. What do
Yeah,
you
looks
see
like
over
a
there?
solid feed frame
Okay. And I'll set this one into our
holding box.
holding
Yep.
box.
To keep everything out of the grass. Yep. Just in case she's on there and we didn't spot her.
Okay. They sound busy.
Looks like they're backfilling with nectar. Unfortunately, we're not seeing cap brood for sure. I'm thinking they raised their own. Yep. They've cleaned an area out to lay, but I think they're waiting for the virgin that they've raised to come back. Yep,
From a mating flight?
from a mating flight. When they raise
Interesting.
their own, it sets them back 10 days.
Ah.
And it's their last chance. If they're not successful with this, there's no backup.
Oh, wow.
That's how nature has set things, and we just have to live with that. So, Freddie, we don't have the best news, but we haven't given up yet. But they seem nice and calm. So we'll just hope that maybe she's on her mating flight right now.
Wow.
Your queens are generally going to be flying between around 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. So the drones are out there a little before, they're out there a little after, just in case there's some early or late queens. But the queens are going to be taking multiple trips out and back in one day or between a few days until they've reached a satisfactory number of matings. And the average that we find is that for most colonies, what you're looking at is somewhere between, I think it's 10 to 15, 7 to 15, maybe something like that, matings. But there are some strains of bees, Africanized bees in particular, that we know the queens will actually mate with more drones. So they actually carry more genetic diversity than a lot of the bees that we keep. But 10 to 15 is plenty.
Well, we've been here a couple hours, gone through the hive, seen what Mother Nature's given us as far as mating success is concerned. Overall, I'm pleased. As usual, there are some that have raised their own, so that'll keep genetic diversity here. Do you want to add some thoughts on this experience today, David?
Thank you so much for having me. It's always terrific to get to see the way another beekeeper keeps bees, and this has given me something to think about for how I'm managing some of my own colonies. So it's very cool to get to see what your years of experience have taught you and how you've then applied that to your beekeeping.
And we've learned a lot from you. Thank you for everything you shared, and especially the coaching you're doing with Emma here. She had lots of questions, and always better to hear it from someone not her dad.
I'll tell her the same thing you would, but she'll believe it when I say it.
Pretty much, pretty much. So thank you for coming out, and I look forward to having a couple more days together and hearing your talk on Saturday.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me up here.
Yep, we'll be back in 2 to 3 weeks, see how the honey flow is going, and getting everything arranged to optimize the field force into the production colonies.
Great.
See you then.